Johnson, who talk on Black Power family. What up? It's your brother in Google. Now you see RANM. Once again, you tune into RANM RBG TV family, and you already know we do keep it G. We're on the cut, common sense for the common people. Of course, dealing with some common issues, and you already know we're trying to seek some common solutions. Of course, my best method of operational advice I can give to the family is that black love is the cure for the black nation, so let's get it. As you can see, fam, located behind me, we are located at 172-17 Lennon Boulevard at the, what's the name of this building? The Robert Russ Johnson building. We are here for the 29th annual CEMOTAP program, their anniversary. And we came out here to show love, whatever, on behalf of the UNIA 432, you know how we do. And for the President General, Mr. Michael R. Duncan, as well as the Division 432, President Raymond Duge, they will be present, along with the keynote speaker of the evening, Dr. Rashidi. He's in the building. He'll still be here. Got a little word for us, so that's why RANM RBG TV is on the scene. You already know how we do. So just, kick back, walk with us the way we, walk with you. You know how we do. And like I said, we are located at 172-17 Linden Boulevard, Jamaica, New York, for the CEMOTAP 29th anniversary program, Celebration of Afrikan Survival. Keynote speaker, Dr. Rashidi. Again, alongside in the building is the President General of the UNIA, Mr. Michael R. Duncan, the co-chair of the CEMOTAP organization, Sister Betty J. Corpson, I believe, and of course, 432 Division President for UNIA, Mr. Raymond Duge. Right here, located on the flyer, if you can see it or not, right there. Like I said, this is where we at, so RANM RBG TV is on the scene. Your brother in Google, now you see RANM. But in the meantime, between time, walk with us the way we walk with you. You know how we do. I'll catch y'all in a minute.
Hotep, brothers and sisters. Hotep. Thank you for coming to our 29th anniversary program. I apologize to you for getting here so late, but I had to pick up our brother over in Newark, Brother Runoko, our keynote speaker, and we came to come through the Midtown Tunnel, and the Midtown Tunnel was closed, was completely barricaded up, so we had to make our way through the streets back up, and that accounts for why I'm a few minutes late. But I'm not really late because it sounds like some good teaching was going on before I got here. Let's have another hand for the brother who was talking. Okay, the first thing I would like to do is to introduce the members of the executive committee. And I'm so happy when I look over and see one of our members who has not been so well, has come through a health challenge. First, one of our original members of the executive committee, please recognize Sister Suzanne Williams.
Respect, Elder.
Also, I want to recognize another member, or the original member, Sister Yvonne Hill. We have an ex officio member I saw came in the back, and he has some important items for us. Brother John Kennard. We have some newer members who are carrying the bulk of the work for the organization now, as we have we're still hanging in there, but I have to admit I've lost a step or so, and maybe a couple of others have left some step. We have some younger members. We got some new blood in here. Sister Kathleen Rollick. This sister, she likes a challenge, so although she is the co-chair of the Queens Million Man and Woman Coordinating Committee, that wasn't enough for her. she decided she would come and help us lead here at CEMOTAP, Sister Nzinga Abina. Another member that we're very familiar with, who's been with us for a long time, Sister Rosina Pope. I don't see Ed. Is Ed here?
No, he's out of town.
Okay, our treasurer, let's acknowledge him anyway. Our treasurer, Ed Ward. Sister Amanda Sims. And last and most, the little co-chair. But before y'all take offense now, I've explained to you why I'm the big co-chair and she's the little co-chair, right? She makes all the little decisions, like which bills we're going to pay each month, who our speakers are going to be, when we're going to renovate the headquarters and how things are going to be arranged, all the little decisions, when we're going to pay our taxes and water bills and stuff like that. And I make the big decisions, like what's our position on global warming. So the little co-chair, who's been doing all that little work before I got here, the one and only Nana Betty Dodson.
Sisters, might of the nation rests within the woman. That's why I always say that.
Other members, I see Sister Johnson out here. I'd just like her to stand where she is. Almost an executive committee member, but she doesn't stand with I want to say that the scope of work that these people do, you just wouldn't believe. I mean, every Monday, they have a conference call which they have to, see, there's a saying, when you don't do anything, everything seems easy, right? Okay, but it's hard to do things, especially under this climate and under the circumstances our people find themselves in. And these, right now it's all ladies, but we have some, we have Brother John and Brother Ed are also members here. They, week in and week out, do the things that keep that headquarters clean, that keep the information going out to people, that keep the organization intact. And I missed Brother, I just looked over and saw Brother Richard, another strong member. Brother Richard, have a stand up. But they do work, they work all year round. Some of us, and I do no fault of our own, we come out once a year maybe for the anniversary program. But they're working on combating racist media the entire year. And I really appreciate all of them, and we could not do anything without them. Thank you so much, sisters, and we love you and your community loves you and appreciates the work.
Respect, dude.
Thank you. Okay, strong. I mean, how many of you have heard that his father was in the KKK? Okay, so I have a picture of a demonstration that was held by the KKK, and Fred Trump was arrested. So now, Mr. Trump, Mr. Donald Trump, he denies that his father was in the KKK. But now you decide for yourself. 7 people were arrested. They all had on white sheets and hoods. One of them's name was Fred Trump. The address he gave, Donald Trump said he don't know that address. That address is, but it's the address of Trump's mother's family. So I leave it to you. Now, if that's not enough evidence for you, he doesn't have to have a membership card. His father acted like he was in the KKK. His father and his housing didn't permit blacks to live in it, would just throw their applications away, and eventually some civil rights groups got together and sent some test cases. One woman's name was Wiggins, the other woman's name was Brown, and ultimately, even though he hired one of the most vicious lawyers that they had out there, a guy by the name of Roy Cohn, he had to sign what was called a consent decree, him and his father, to allow black people to live in housing that they had built. So if you don't believe just because he lived at that address and that was his name and he had on a white sheet and a white hood, if you don't believe he's a KKK for that, believe he's the KKK for his actions. Roy Cohn was also, as you know, one of the top attorneys for the McCarthy era. He was one of the prosecuting attorneys in which they went after everybody with the so-called Red Scare. Roy Cohn also was chosen rather than Robert Kennedy because they didn't want him to be, they didn't want people to say it was anti-Semitic. That's what they said. They didn't want people to say it. But Roy Cohn, although he was Jewish, they say he was an anti-Semitic Jew and a homophobic homosexual. This was Roy Cohn. Now, Roy Cohn was Donald Trump's mentor. There's a little problem we have here. McCarthyism, which represents the far-right attack on the so-called left, you ever ask yourself, and you got to think like a James Bond movie, why does Trump keep marrying women from a certain area in Europe? Czechoslovakia, Slovenia. In fact, did you know that melanin, you know he married melanin, right? Y'all call her Melania. Melanin's father was a member of the Communist Party. Did you know that? Melanin's father was a member of the Communist Party. Okay, but she said her mother wasn't. So that's like, you know, I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. You know, I mean, that's a lame excuse. So now, we got to put this together. Why would a guy who was mentored by Roy Cohn on the far right have a wife whose father was in the Communist Party and have a string of wives, all with that kind of relationship to Soviet bloc or attempted Soviet bloc countries? One of the things we know is that as a young person, he didn't want to be a businessman. You know what he wanted to be? An actor. So this brings you back to the old Lao Tse. You ever heard of Lao Tse in the Tao? Okay, well, there's another one, I think his name was Wang Su. He said he had a dream that he was a beautiful butterfly, right? And as a beautiful butterfly, he didn't remember that he was Chang Chu. But then when he woke up, he found himself wondering, was he Chang Chu, who dreamed of being a beautiful butterfly? Or was he a beautiful butterfly who was now dreaming he was Chang Chu? So, Donald Trump, is he a far-right white nationalist pretending to be like a normal person? Or is he a communist pretending to be far-right? You don't know. Whatever it is, what we do know is that all of his associations are bad things for black people. The people he was running with, Christie and Giuliani, they have those mob roots, you know. Christie was visiting a top mobster named Fumari in prison. Giuliani, his father operated a pizza shop on Hawthorne and Nostrand. The back of it was a loan shark operation. He would actually get a bat and go into Kings County to go collect his debts. So what am I saying? I'm saying this man has mobster roots, he has white nationalist roots, he has McCarthy roots, he has, you know, all of that looks one way, but then on the other hand, he's got this connection to these Slavic women and to the Communist Party. All right? Now, again, the same way that whether he wore a sheet or not is as important as what he does, The fact that he knows Christie and hangs with Christie, the fact that he hangs with Giuliani, that alone doesn't make him a mobster. But when you look at his activities, what activities was he involved with? Boxing, boxing promotion, construction. You know, if you want to talk about machine tampering, nobody knows machine tampering better than Atlantic City. Then we look at 1989 when he was supposed to get a commuter flight to Atlantic City, and oh my goodness, by coincidence, he didn't get on that commuter flight. And what happened? His top 3 executives all got killed in that plane crash. If you believe in a coincidence like that, then you believe that Bess Myerson's going to have a baby from Mayor Koch on Monday. And that's not going to happen for a couple of reasons, one of which is they're both dead, okay? So we know that that's not going to happen. Brothers and sisters, who you have just elected is the devil. Now, the first time we got kicked out of here, Betty and Yvonne and Suzanne, remember the first time we got kicked out, you know, CEMOTAP got kicked out of the church. It was because we didn't let a white man in here when we had Bruce Wright here. So I don't want anybody to go back and go say that Dr. McIntosh said the white man is the devil. Dr. McIntosh is an educated person, an intelligent person, a logical person. I know that. How could the white man be the devil? The devil is a little man in a red suit with horns that lives down in the ground. Okay? So don't say I'm illogical like that. Okay? Brothers and sisters, we've just elected the devil, and the next thing you have to look for is martial law. You can see that Hitler laid cool for a couple of years as he was trying to set things up. He even went through a farce during the Olympics to hide the signs that they had about the Jews and those sorts of things. When people came to visit, people left there thinking that it was some sort of an open society. But the regulations for martial law have already been signed. It was signed in 2012 by Mr. Obama. So if you ever think there was a time to be prepared, this is the time to be prepared. The one saving grace in all of this is something that was said, and I saw Brother Duncan and Brother Duge come into the building. Give them a round of applause. You probably wonder why I was filibustering, right? Wonder why I was filibustering my speakers, our next speakers are here. But it's something that was said by Marcus Garvey, was repeated by Carlos Cooks, and was popularized by Brother Ilambe Brad. And that's what we have to hold on to right now. When all else fails to organize the people, the conditions will. And Mr. Trump has some conditions he wants to put on us, and has some conditions we have to resist. And we have to now talk to people that we might not have wanted to talk to before. There's probably some people here that they say, well, that sister's, she's talking about Jesus Christ. I'm going to, hey, listen, that's not what's important. This is the battles and fights on behalf of our people. You'll hear somebody else get up and they'll say something about, we've got people on our executive committee who are followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and followers of Minister Louis Farrakhan. But the fact of the matter is those things are trivial. At the end, you can bet when they were putting Jews in the concentration camp, everybody understood. It didn't make any difference whether you were a communist Jew. It didn't make any difference whether you were you had Jews that said they weren't Jews anymore. Okay, it didn't matter what you were. Those conditions force you to get organized and get back together, and that's the conditions we're under now. And so we can think of it more of a blessing than anything else. Speaking of a blessing, I look in the back and I see a great blessing to our community. Dr. Leonard Jeffries, give him a round of applause. The start of this is right behind him. I see Brother Nova Felder and Brother Jack Felder. But how can I not acknowledge the family of Sister Amanda Sims over here, the great mathematician. So right now, the next person scheduled on the agenda, and I'm sure he's ready. He is the president of the local chapter, I believe it's 432.
That's right.
The Universal Negro Improvement Association, and of course we know that Negroes need improvement. Please welcome to the microphone, Brother Raymond Duge.
Prez.
Okay, greetings everyone.
Greetings, President.
Let's get this party started, right? Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Ready. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today is November 19, 2016. It is a very important day for me. Before I introduce myself, before I extol the virtues of CEMOTAP, and before I send congratulations and salutations to the esteemed Professor Runoko Rashidi, I would be remiss not to discuss today is November 19th. Exactly 213 years ago today, 1803, November 19th, your last great true white nationalist, Victor Rochambeau. Rochambeau had informed those Africans in Haiti that no matter what, he would eliminate them all, return them to slavery, and crush any ideas of ever being free. He, in his mind, he had no place for black people, and all we could be was nothing but slaves, and even worse than a dog. In fact, what he had said is that he would, once he caught your general, your esteemed emperor, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, when he caught Dessalines, he wouldn't even treat him like a man. He would go and, what's the word? He would bring over, he would import these man-eating dogs, and he would sick those dogs on Dessalines to rip him in shreds. So, being a legitimate white nationalist, he went out and did that. He imported the dogs, and he let it be known that he was going to catch Dessalines and really feed those dogs, feed Dessalines to the dogs. Dessalines said, no problem, bring it on. What did Dessalines do? They surrounded the city of Lembe. They suffocated the city. Rochambeau was in the city. Nothing could go in and out. The soldiers of Dessalines wanted to know, why don't we go in and crush these beasts? Dessalines said, no, we have to teach them a lesson. They suffocated Lembe for over 21 days. Afterwards, no food could go in, no food could go out. Guess what Rochambeau ended up eating? Those same dogs that he imported for Dessalines. So, on November 19th, 1803, Rochambeau went to Cap-Haïtien to meet Dessalines because the day before, at the final battle to determine African liberation, at the Battle of Vertières, the French were completely annihilated. Rochambeau escaped. The next day, he traveled back to Cap-Haïtien to beg for mercy, to beg to allow to live. Dessalines, your greatest general, said, of course, sir, you can live. I want you to go back to France, and I want you to tell every European, every white man, every potential colonist that from now on, from this day on, that no European, no white, no colonist, no Caucasian can ever return on this land, the land that Dessalines eventually called Haiti, in honor of the original indigenous population. You will never, ever return as master. On November 18th, in 1803, at the Battle of Vertières, what Dessalines, what Capois Lamoine, what Henri Christophe did is nothing short of phenomenal. They introduced the first concept of what they call transcendental guerrilla warfare. It's called marionette, where you take the little puppet and you pull on the strings left and right. The French were so confused they didn't know what to do. In the end, they were completely destroyed. So ladies and gentlemen, now I can start. I had to tell you today's November 19th, exactly 213 years ago, Rochambeau was allowed to leave Haiti so he could go back to Europe and tell his Europeans what had happened. And from that day on, all of the European historians decided that they would denigrate, that they would denunciate, that they would always attack that African state. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause, those Africans. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me start. My name is Raymond Duge. I'm the president of Division 432 of the UNIA ACL.
Right.
But more importantly, I am at your service. I'm here to serve our people, to uplift our people. I'm here to extol the virtues of CEMOTAP. That is the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a story for you. There was a man approximately 100 years ago who decided, guess what? I'm going to eliminate media offensive to African people. In 1918, on August 17th, his birthday, he would start what he would call the Negro World newspaper.
That's right.
That newspaper would turn out to be the largest subscription international weekly in the history of humankind. You've had other black publications in the United States. You've got the Amsterdam News, you've got the Crusader, you've got the Crisis, you've got the Defender, you've got the Emancipator, you've got the Guardian, you've got the Wisp, all of these. But guess what? Not one of them tells you what it is. Garvey comes along and he says, cut the bluff, call it for what it is. Let's announce to the world we stand for our black people. So he calls his newspaper the Negro World.
That's right.
And the logo of the Negro World, you will see a very important structure. It is the face of your Pharaoh Khafre, who's on the Sphinx. The reason why Mr. Garvey puts the Sphinx on the logo of the newspaper is for two fundamental reasons. Number one, he wanted to impress upon us that we are a great people. We're the first mathematicians, the first engineers, the first artists, the first accountants, the first brick masons. We were the first of the first. In fact, now Valley civilization is the start of civilization. But the second reason why he puts that Sphinx, it answers the riddle of the Sphinx, which is, how do you build a pyramid? How do you build a Sphinx? Do 10, 20, 30, 40, do 17, 18, 30, 400,000 people just magically show up? Of course not. You need to have a definitive, organized, self-reliant economic platform. When Mr. Garvey's in Europe, specifically in England, doing research at the British Museum, when he encounters that solves the riddle for Mr. Garvey, because until then, Mr. Garvey was entirely of the mind that you could self-fund a movement. You could raise as much money on your own and then buy for liberation. It's only when Mr. Garvey learns about the Sphinx, the pyramids, the great structures, how they're built. In fact, you cannot become a great military power until you first become a great economic power. This is why this government, the United States government, goes out of its ways to destabilize governments. Because if you cannot feed yourself, if you cannot turn the economic engines, certainly you won't be able to defend yourself. And if you're involved in corruption, in nonsense, you're not allowing the chance, the opportunity to grow and develop. So, in closing, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you some addresses. You know, when Mr. Garvey was around, Harlem was the center of the universe. And listen to these addresses, ladies and gentlemen. Grocery store number 1, 47 West 135th Street. Grocery store number 2, 646 Lenox Avenue. That's at 142nd Street. Grocery store number 3, 554 Lenox Avenue. That's 135th Street. Universal Restaurant number 1, 114 West 138th Street. You should know that address. That address is right next to where the current Abyssinian Baptist Church exists. Universal Restaurant number 2, 75 West 135th Street. And 36 and 38 West 135th Street, that's the Black Dolls Factory. And then you have 2305 7th Avenue. That's at 135th Street. That's the Universal Printing House. And then, before we finish, you've got 54 West 135th Street and 56 West 135th Street. The 56 is the Black Star Line Corporation headquarters, and 54 is the UNIA head office. And finally, 62 West 142nd Street. That's the Universal Mart Industry. That building housed 500 black workers every day. In fact, just in New York City, Mr. Garvey had a little bit more than 1,000 employees. In the rest of the United States, he had another 4,000 employees. That makes 5,000 in the United States. Outside of the United States, UNIA hired another 5,000 employees, all Africans. That means on a weekly basis, the UNIA and Mr. Garvey was producing payroll for 10,000 people. And before I go, I have to ask this $1 million question. Where does Mr. Garvey get all this money to buy all these buildings? Oh, let me guess. Maybe he started a 501c3 corporation and he got the corporations to match it. Not possible. That doesn't exist until 1954. We're talking 1919, 1920. So let me guess. Maybe Mr. Garvey went out and begged the oppressor, the Caucasians, the aliens, and they helped him out. That couldn't be done because they wouldn't have done that. But number two is the concept of UNIA, racial uplift, self-reliance. You cannot depend on your oppressor. Right. You can't go beg, please, master, give me a break. Oh, I'm so unhappy. Hillary lost. The world is coming down. Nonsense, 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 and nonsense.
Tell him, Prez.
Where does Mr. Garvey get all this money from?
People.
You black man.
That's right.
You black woman. You black man.
That's right.
You black man.
That's right.
You black woman. You black woman. And of course you, Mr. Duncan. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2014, as black people in the United States, we spent $1.1 trillion. If that was separate government, separate entity, we would be the 16th largest economy in the world.
That's right.
We make up approximately 42 million people in these United States. All of Africa is 1.1 billion people. We're not even 4% of Africa. Africa produces 2.1 trillion. We, not even 4% of the population of Africa, we spend 1.1 trillion. We spend more than half they make. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer has always been the same. We have the solution. It's self-reliance. Mr. Garvey starts the Negro Factories Corporation and the Black Star Line Corporation. He charges $5 per share. What is $5 in 1919 based on 5% cost of living adjustment today? $600. That's the price of a cell phone. If you complain that $600 is too much money today, then go back and ask those black people how they spent it, how they found the money. Gotcha. And keep in mind, in 1920, the average wage was between $1 and $3 per day. Black people weren't even making 40 cents. How did these black people get all this money? Because they understand race first, everybody else is doing it.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world is not falling. We have the solution, but it involves sacrifice. It involves collecting all of our goods and coming together. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Raymond Duge, and I'm at your service.
Prez. 432.
Seems like it got a little warm in here, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's have another round of applause.
True Garvey right there.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven reigns with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let
for you, unless you think I was showing them some disrespect, okay? Dr. Ben taught me like the highest thing we can call each other is brother and sister. But if I want to be, technical, if I was with another group of folks or whatever it is, I would say Assemblyman Charles Barron and Councilperson Inez Barron.
Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. Certainly is a pleasure, privilege, and an honor to be here with you. I give honor to God, who's the head of my life, and to whom I look each and every day to protect me, direct me, correct me, and favor me. And I want to give acknowledgement to the leaders of this great establishment. I'm going to ask them both to stand so that we can call them out. So we know Dr. James McIntosh and City Betty Dodson. And all of these They have on their attire that is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And certainly these are people that are in the forefront. As we talk about the disrespect and the slanted bias reporting that we see in the media, it's this group of people that came together 29 years ago and said, no, there needs to be something done to call them out and to hold their feet to the fire. So we're so pleased to be here and to see you looking all regal and to wish you another 29 and another 29 and another 29 as you go forward and continue to do the work. Thank you so much. Dr. McIntosh was at a program about 2 weeks ago, and he called it, and I said, really? He made a very interesting presentation, and in his presentation, he said that someone told him Donald Trump is going to win this. Well, that's what happened. That's what happened. And we're now in a situation where we really, conditions, they say when all else fails to mobilize the people and organize the people, conditions will. Conditions will. So we see an intensification of conditions that are marginalizing us, attacking us, brutalizing us, killing us. And we've got to come together and mobilize. We've got to be parts of organizations such as CEMOTAP and other progressive, black-based organizations that have a history and a record that has demonstrated that they have our best interest at heart, and be a part of that and move forward. We did just come from a street, no, it wasn't a street, it was more than a street renaming. It was a triangle designation. They have these green streets programs in the city where it's a triangular or rectangular shape and it's a green street. It was renamed for a young brother, Charles Penn Jr., and he is a son, he's deceased, he was a son of Sam and Cynthia Penn. Sam Penn and Cynthia Penn, and they had a renaming for him in Brooklyn, right there in their Boys and Girls High School. And so that's named for him. And he died at a young age, but he had established a great legacy, a legacy that was involved in social justice and calling things out and being active in the community. So just as he was recognized, we may not at this point get the acknowledgement and the grand platform to stand on, but we've got to continue to do the work so that those who come behind us, generations behind us, will look back at us and say, they helped to pave the path, they helped to do the work, they helped to continue to keep the pressure on so that we would continue to move forward as a people. So once again, I commend you for this grand occasion and look forward to many, many more years and participating in other events that you're going to be having in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity. Good to see you, Betty. Always good to see you. I like that dream. Dream on, my sister. But you sure you wasn't awake when you were... I don't know if you were sleeping on that one. But I, too, want to commend CEMOTAP and Dr. McIntosh and Betty for all the work that you've done. And truly, it's hard to be consistent in this struggle. People live long enough and sometimes they'll flip on you, and before you know it, before they reach their grave, there's somebody else. But you, Dr. McIntosh and Betty, y'all have been consistent over the years. I was also at that program when Dr. McIntosh said that Trump was going to win. When he was up there talking, I said, he got to be, should he really think he? I said, oh no, I said, here I come. my deep analysis. I said, no, Dr. McIntosh, Trump doesn't have a path to 270. He's not going to win. How could they elect him? Let's get prepared for war against Hillary. We're going to be fighting Hillary. But it was a brilliant analysis. So I called him up and said, Dr. McIntosh, we got that right, didn't we? He got it right. We had it wrong. Brilliant analysis. But you know what? It was really a race between the fox and the wolf.
Yes. I'm with it.
And you know, the wolf won, so you're going to see the bite. You're going to know where it's coming, and you're going to have to combat that bite. Had the fox, Clinton, won, you would have been bitten, but you wouldn't have realized it until you got home and saw some blood. And then all those black elected officials that were dusting off their resumes because they had the connection with Clinton are now going to be radicals with us.
They can stay right where they at.
Don't be surprised if they start organizing demonstrations. I was up in Albany on a retreat this year, and I can say this publicly because he said it publicly. Carl McCall was speaking to us at a luncheon, and he said he was so upset with what happened on Tuesday that he's joining Charles Barron's Liberation Army. Carl McCall said. So I said, my brother, we welcome you. As a matter of fact, we're putting you on the front line. You go first, and we'll follow you to make sure that you really go. But you know, we are the descendants of Shaka Zulu. We are the descendants of Toussaint Louverture, Dessalines. We are the descendants of Queen Nzinga. We know how to defeat Europeans. We know how to win. Trump ain't nothing. So nobody needs to be sitting here depressed, shocked, upset. Oh my God, what are we gonna do now? What you been doing?
Gut check.
Because Trump nor Clinton, Republican nor Democrat, can stop a fatally flawed capitalist system from dying. Because it is dying. It is dying. Doesn't matter who gets in, it only matters what we do. Nobody's going to be able to patch up capitalism. It is a racist system. It is a sexist system. It is a classist system. It's a xenophobic system, misogynic system, and it is dying all over the world. We just have to realize that. And at some point, we got to look at black nationalism.
Gut check.
Separate.
Gut check.
Some point, we got to look at revolutionary nationalism. And let's say we got to deal with that which will be the host nation. Because even if you build a nation within a nation, you're still going to have to deal with this capitalism.
That's right.
So while we have that dual struggle, be honest with you, I woke up every morning ready. I said, all right, bring it. If you can't wake up now, ain't nothing going to wake you up.
Oh, that's right.
Because you have to be ready. And sometimes when you get the Obamas and you get the Clintons, we think we made some progress and we go to sleep, but yet the same thing that happened. You know why they're angry with that guy in the White House now? Because he told everybody what America been doing.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
He didn't say anything different. Build a wall, they already had a wall. Not let Muslims in, there's already stopping Muslims. All of the stuff that he said, they angry at him because he pulled the cover up. You wasn't supposed to tell the world we were doing that. And you certainly wasn't supposed to tell black people. Now they're mad at us. We've been angry. But now it's time to get organized. So I think I'm eternal optimistic. I know this system is dying. I know we're going to win. And it's only a matter of what we do. That's the bottom line, brothers and sisters. It's what we do. This is in our hands. So God bless you. We do have to go. And that's mother is 94 years old. And we're going to visit her now. But we do want to leave a $200 check for CEMOTAP. And to do that, Not sure I wanted to say the amount, because James gets up there, he might start at 1,000, so don't y'all start at 200. He might want to start at 1,000, go down to 500. So my 200 is a special thing because we got to leave. Thank y'all. Black Power!
Black Power!
CEMOTAP family, it is certainly a great pleasure for me to join you when you are involved in important endeavors, and certainly this anniversary of CEMOTAP is an important date. And the biggest struggle in my lifetime against a scholar, and that scholar was me. And I was supposed to be removed, and I had 4 bulletproof vests to prove it, but it didn't happen because the response of our global community was so fantastic that I was able to sustain myself. CEMOTAP was on the front line in defending scholars like myself who are raising this African truth. So let's give CEMOTAP another. I want to acknowledge all of you, and I can't do it by name because Dr. Mack, he's, he's a manager. He knows how to manage the plantations, and he cracks the whip, and so I'm respecting that. So I want to give praises to all of you who have been on the front line and on the back line and raising hell for our people. And certainly I want to give honor to the UNIA.
That's right.
And Michael Duncan.
And 32.
And I see my brother, Idol Kofi Idol, who is there, and he's holding together WADU, the World African Diaspora Union, that I'm the president of. And of course, we talk about media, we talk about the mind and the liberation of our people. We have to have Chris Noble stand up, the son of Bill Noble. We are on a victorious path. And I had sense enough on election eve to turn my TV off, and it didn't come on for 4 days. I don't allow any of that to impact on my consciousness, and it hasn't. Our victorious path is clear. And so CEMOTAP's activities such as this are part of that. And there are scholar warriors and scholar warriettes, meaning our warrior women, that have been on the forefront. There are people who don't have the media emphasis that I got because of the questions I was raising. But we are on an enormous explosion of information that has given us the truth of who and what we are. And some of us have done it in terms of Africa, the work of Sheikh Anta Diop and Dr. Ben and others. Some have done it in terms of West Africa. That's where my PhD and my work is, and my wife has done her work in West Africa. Some have done it in the Caribbean, the Walter Rodneys and these other great scholars that we have had. And then some have done it in terms of, like Ivan Ben Sedma, Mexico. But the one scholar among us, and this victorious path, this changing of the history of the world that we've been involved in, who has been able to move throughout the world and does not get the enormous credit that he needs, is Runoko Rashidi. He's had a chance to be a witness to the global African presence. And so even when some of us have now been able to go to Asia and to India and deal with the Dalit people, but Runoko led the way there. And then he just didn't stop there. He decided he would tap into the Nile Valley and see what the hell we were talking about. And then had nerve enough to go all the way down to Australia. The brother has been everywhere. And he didn't go for a tour, he went to reveal the secrets of our people and the traditions of people. I have the greatest respect for him. And then he partnered with people. He doesn't need to have the first position, but he was a great partner of Ivan Van Sertima and the work that Ivan did. And of course, the greatest among us, I always say the best of us, is Dr. Asa Hilliard. And Runoko teamed with him and others in the conferences and whatnot, in which we were raising this enormous truth. So I have the greatest respect for him. But it's not just us little people that have respect to him. The greatest gathering of us as scholars occurred in Senegal a couple of years ago when I was asked to put together at least 25 to 40 of the African scholars I knew to be a part of that. People came from all over the world. This was the 3rd edition of the World Festival of Scholars. And we were dealing with the great traditions that Dr. Ben, this gift that keeps on giving of the Nile Valley and the other scholars in the work. It was a 3-week, a month-long activity, and 2 to 3 of it was focused on the scholarship. The first of the sessions that we had involved the President of Senegal opening it up with this great scholar meeting. But being the head of state, he had to leave when another head of state was flying into Dakar in the airport. One of the great moments was to see our brother Runoko acknowledged like none of us have ever been acknowledged. This great gathering of our minds to acknowledge this victory that we have established the African origin of humankind, the African Evolution Society, the African Foundation of Culture and Civilization. Runoko was bringing his great contribution in terms of Asia. And the president held up his book and said, here is his works. And then Runoko, of course, gave a great presentation. But when the president got the word to go out to the airport to meet a head of state, something I've never seen done, he said, I have to leave now to acknowledge a leader coming to a country. And I would like this great brother, whose work is so seminal and has transformed our understanding of things, particularly in Asia, I would like him to come up and sit in my seat and chair this activity. I mean, I would have been a little shaken. I said, I hope Runoko doesn't miss a beat. Runoko stepped up like this is what he's supposed to do. And in the process, he also brought somebody from Runoko, the fellow that you brought.
Benny Winder, West Papua.
West Papua, a leader from West Papua, who came in his traditional outfit. And Runoko was able to bring him to the fore and relate to him. And he took one of his crowns and gave it to the president of Senegal. And the president of Senegal put it on with dignity and grace. We're talking about a global African family connecting for victory. Runoko, you did it, brother. I'm proud of you. And now we have our great brother.
Out of absent-mindedness, I forgot to call up one speaker before Brother Runoko. So you got the introduction from Brother Runoko, but now I must introduce, you met the president of the local chapter, but the UNIA has a different kind of structure. They got not just a president, but a president and a general. He's called the President General of the UNIA, and we're talking about none other than the great restaurant owner, great activist, Brother Michael Duncan, and he has a few words for us.
PG.
And I'm so glad he has agreed to donate that bow tie to CEMOTAP.
One God.
One God,
One name.
one aim,
One destiny.
one destiny.
How are you?
Good.
I must say, I've been elected the 11th President General of the UNIA.
All right.
The 10th. The 10th successor to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Meaning, brothers and sisters, I am charged to lifting up the black race. We have our own president, so please don't talk about Trump. Please do not talk about Hillary. Marcus Garvey created the UNIA as a government.
That's right. That's right.
Marcus Garvey said there are two types of citizens in the UNIA. Each and every one of you, you are a member of the UNIA. There are only two types of citizens, Marcus Garvey said. One who is active and one who is inactive. I ask you to activate your citizenship today.
That's right.
And become an active member of the UNIA. I was born on that island of Jamaica. Jamaica won't take care of me. Many of us were born here. This so-called country won't take care of us. Many of our leaders in Africa, they're not able to take care of us. Not because they're not good, because we did not solidify the government base for them to stand on. Before I go any further, I want to recognize a UNIA member for life. Queen Mother Lamb, could you please stand up? How old are you now? 93 years old.
Respect elders.
Brother Renoko, can't wait to see your presentation today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving us the type of information that we need to elevate ourselves. Thank you. And thank you as serving as the traveling ambassador for the UNIA. So again, here's another member of the UNIA.
That's right.
Professor Jeffries, whenever I see you, I know I become a second-class citizen in any room that you sit in. But the reason why we do what we do, because legends like Professor Jeffries, we need to take care of them.
That's right.
We can't talk about people and then our great scholars end up in some type of institution owned and controlled by aliens. Come on, become a part of your government. Activate your citizenship. I must say I'm a member of CEMOTAP and I'm proud.
Yes.
I've been seeing Sister Dodson, Brother McIntosh for years and respecting them. Now we're in a relationship where I'm seeing them on a regular basis and liking them. We use CEMOTAP building as our meeting center. Let me tell you something. CEMOTAP has never asked us for $1. They have never asked us for $1. But again, we want to get strong economically so we can take care of the institutions that are taking care of us. Betty Dobson, Sister Betty Dobson, I love you. I thank you for the work you have done over the last 30-something years. Brother McIntosh, I can't say enough. Brother McIntosh activated his citizenship in the UNIA.
That's right. Well done.
And we are glad to have him. Black people, you know, a few weeks ago, about 9 weeks ago, I'm opening a new restaurant. And I had people to work for me, but I was there doing nothing, so I decided to do some work. I bought a new coffee machine and I was moving it from one table to the next. And I tripped. The coffee machine came down on me, split my hand, cut the tendons, cut the nerves. I had to have surgery that night. I went into the hospital, and when it was time to apply the anesthesia, I'm seeing all aliens around me.
Yes. Terrible.
No, I caught myself and I said, my God,
Yes.
for the work I am scheduled to do right now, I can't put myself in this position again.
That's
I
right.
can't allow these aliens to be taking care of my health, and they can decide if I wake up tonight.
That's right.
So I said, the work that I have been charged to do. And let me tell you before, Professor Jeffrey has already protected me with the ancestors. Marcus
right.
Garvey said, men who
Beautiful
are
name.
in earnest are not afraid of consequences. Therefore, we must do what we need to do and take it out there. So after being there, I said, no, we have to do this kind of work because we have to build our institutions. We have to make our doctor. We have to make everybody in the medical profession so they can take care of our needs. I never want to see myself or you in that position again where we have to rely on these aliens to stay healthy. Folks, in 1914 on a trip from England to Jamaica, Marcus Garvey asked, where's the black man king and his kingdom? Where is his government? Where is people of high places? He said, I couldn't find them, therefore I will help you make them.
That's right.
Black people, I'm going to ask you, where are our banks? Where are our supermarkets? Are we happy with where we are? No. Marcus Garvey said he would build them back then. Black people, we must build them right now. So we ask for you to join our ranks. Be a part of what we're doing. Marcus Garvey says any nation that relies on another for economic existence, sooner or later dies.
That's right.
Black people, aren't we dying? Yes. They are killing our children every day, and we can't do anything about it. We are the only people that send our children into a school system that benefit by miseducating them and don't get involved. Yes.
Right.
The dollar comes in at 9 a.m., brothers and sisters. It leaves by 5 p.m. We must stop that. We have devised a plan here in Southeast Queens where the economic wheel will start turning. We developed a corporation. We already collected over $400,000. Dr. Mack is an investor. Dr. J is an investor. Many of you who are sitting here are investors. We have 10,000 shares of stocks to sell. $600 a piece. How much more minutes I have, brother?
No, I'm not putting a limit on you, but if you can wrap it up.
Okay, I'll speed it up, brother. I got to tell you about the investment, then I got to close. Brothers and sisters, we need $1 million by the 31st of December. We have over $400,000. We have just leased a 15,000 square foot property at 13505 Merritt Boulevard. Our restaurants, we identify 100 of our restaurants. They spend $82 million per year to the aliens. We are bringing it home to us. So to facilitate that investment, we're asking each and every one of you to invest $600. Most of you may say, $600 is a whole lot of money. But how many of you have an iPhone? A Samsung phone? Over $600. Invest it in yourself, not in Apple. Invest it in yourself. Brothers and sisters, my friend on the Marcus Garvey Center in Brooklyn, below him was a Korean store. The Korean gentleman said, I own 7 of these stores in black neighborhood. He's making a whole lot of money.
That's right.
So my friend said to him, brother, since we're friends, can you introduce me to the Korean Association? He said, no. Korean Association for Korean people. He said, you're black. Go to the Black Association. Black people, where is the Black Association?
UNIA.
Right here, brothers and sisters. I'm getting ready to close, but I gotta do a final thing before I close. I have a whole lot to say, but I can't say. Time is of the essence. I want to listen to the good brother over here. I went to Atlanta last week for the Black Power Award. I was given the award for economics and business. But while being there, I had to visit the penitentiary where they held the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. And I went to the penitentiary. I stood outside. I'm trying to gain some of that power that the Almighty Creator gave Marcus Garvey to fight this good fight for our people.
That's right.
You got to remember, while Marcus Garvey was inside those walls, black people were dying for him. They were going to kill him.
That's right.
You know what prevented them from killing Marcus Garvey? Our people. They protested, they fight, they protested, they fight every single day. So the government was afraid to kill Marcus Garvey. But Marcus Garvey wrote a letter inside that penitentiary to black people. Please give me 3 minutes, brother, to recite this letter. And then I'm done. The brother said, after my enemies are satisfied, black people, I shall come back to serve. He said, in life, I shall be the same. In death, I shall be a terror to the foes of black liberty. That's right. He He said, if death has power, count on me to be the real Marcus Garvey. If I may come in an earthquake, pestilence, or as God would have me, black people. Don't you know I shall never desert you and make your enemies triumph over you? Black people, would I not go to hell 1,000,000 times for you? Would I not cry at the footstool of the Lord omnipotent for you? Would I not walk the earth like the ghost of Macbeth for you, black people? Then why be sad? Cheer up and be assured that if it takes 1,000,000 years, the sins of our enemies shall visit the 1,000,000th generation of those who hinder and oppress us. If I die in Atlanta, my work then shall only begin. For I shall live in the spiritual to see the days of Africa's glory. When I am dead, wrap me in the mantle of the red, black, and the green. For with God's grace and blessings, I shall rise again. I shall bring with me countless millions who have died in the Caribbean, North America, and Africa to aid us in the fight for freedom, liberty, and life. Black people, activate your citizenship today. One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Thank you.
That's I.